Hello everybody, I am Sunny and this is Brother David who will have the little talk about his life experience and the spiritual experience as well. And this is a talk. I have two purposes for this talk. The first one is just to hearing the experiences from David, and the second one is I am having a small fundraising project called in Vietnamese called cơm có thịt, and literally in English means meat has meal, meal has meat, a meal has meat, the meal has meat, which is supporting the children back in Vietnam where the Don Bosco community helping them in the summer when they come to the Don Bosco house to play and to learn the knowledge. They are not really have ability to come back their house like far away around 10 or 20 kilometers to have lunch, and some other they don't have ability to feed themselves because they are in the poor condition. And the Don Bosco house, the Salesian there, they have to provide the lunch for them, which is they don't have much condition to provide the luxury things, just enough to feed their stomach. So the easiest food is just noodles, because it's instant, and it is cheap and don't cost much time to prepare because they don't have much salary to pay for the person who prepare the food for them. And once I saw the picture of the children eating the lunch, there is only noodles, which touched my heart. So that's why I do the fundraising for them to support the Salesians there back in Vietnam, have more budget, have more ability to feed them well. So that's why I am here today with Brother David, who will help us to help us about everything. So let's move on the first question. That's maybe every person here is curious about you. So can you please introduce a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So my name is Brother David, and I'm from Australia, and I'm a Salesian brother. So that means that I am not a priest, but I'm a brother. But, if I was a priest, I'd be able to say mass and hear confessions and so on and so on. I don't do any of that, but I can help with the spiritual needs of people if need be. My main work is working in the youth centre. We have a big youth centre here. Sometimes we might have 10 kids, sometimes we might have 110, just depends on how busy we are. And so there are 5 of us that look after the youth centre. We take it in turns to look after birthday parties and so on. We're open every day after school, except for Mondays. And on Friday nights we are open as well. And so we just supply a place. It's a recreation centre, so we supply equipment and so on. They can jump on the trampolines, they can play pool, they can play table tennis, they can play basketball and volleyball. There are a lot of things or soccer. There are a lot of things they can do. You keep them active, and it keeps them doing something off the streets and sort of doing different things. I met Sonny a few years ago at another Don Bosco, and he was staying in the hostel there, and we became friends. He's now working somewhere else, but occasionally we catch up with one another, and it's very good. So
Thank
there we are.
you for your
No.
compliance.
no worries.
And actually, some of you guys is curious thing about who is the Salesians.
Okay. So the Salesians are called Salesians after St. Francis de Sales, who this year is celebrating 400 years. And our founder is St. John Bosco. That's where we get Don Bosco for the youth centre and the hostel and those places, after St. John Bosco. And St. John Bosco lived in the 1800s. He was born in 1816 and died about 1860, I think, something like that anyway. And he was born in Italy and founded Salesians in Italy. He started the idea of having youth centres, and they didn't have a permanent place. They shifted around from place to place. Eventually they got a permanent place. Then he worked out that some of the boys needed help with employment because there was high unemployment at that time. They could get jobs as bricklayers and different things like that, but they couldn't get anything permanent. So Don Bosco started off trade schools where they could learn how to do things so they could get a more permanent job. He also founded hostels because they needed somewhere to stay. They had nowhere to stay. And like Sonny was mentioning, in those days also he founded kitchens and dining rooms and places where they could eat, because they didn't have good meals. They would be able to eat sort of rubbishy food, but nothing substantial that would keep them going. And so the Salesians gradually spread out, and they're in just about every country in the world, and including Vietnam, where there are a lot of Salesians in Vietnam. So hello to the Vietnamese Salesians. And he founded these, or he and his men who became known as Salesians, brothers and priests and sisters, and they founded these places throughout the world. So we're in just about every country. Yeah.
There are heaps of information, and I would like to know, like, why did you choose to become a brother?
All right. So I chose to become a brother rather than a priest because when Don Bosco founded the Salesians, he found it with brothers and priests, and I figured that we could all become priests and there'd be no brothers, but we need brothers because brothers sort of can do some of the tasks. Nowadays it's a little bit different to what it was back in the old days, where the brothers only did the menial tasks, like they did the cooking and they did the cleaning and they did all sorts of things like that. Now the priests also do that, but the brothers still serve a purpose, and we're still very involved, and we can do some of the things that the priests may be tied up with masses or confessions or different things like that, whereas the brothers aren't, so they can get involved in different things. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons I become a brother. Yeah.
But you just say about how did you choose to become a brother? So, but I would like to know why did you choose to dedicate in the religious life?
Right. Okay. So that's yeah. Okay. So, but I'm the oldest in my family. We had 6. We really had 7, but one died very young. So, and I was the oldest. So I've always been around younger kids, and I've always been energized, and I found it working with kids can be difficult. There are some difficulties, but I like it working with youth and being around young people and getting energized by young people and getting challenged by young people. It's all a good thing, and if I can also, it's good to be around young people, but I could be a welfare worker and be around young people. The added thing about being a Salesian is that I can bring them to God somehow. I can make God known to them and bring them to God.
You enroll into the youth center. So what else do you do every day?
All right. So I'm involved with St. Vincent de Paul. We meet every Tuesday, and then every so often we do visits. So I'm involved in that, and I'm also involved in radio. I do radio every Monday from 8 till 10 p.m. and that's a music show. It's called Somebody's Music. It's on the local radio station. And I also do involved in a group called ACRAF, which stands for Australian Catholic Religious Against the Trafficking of Humans. So we meet together. At the moment we're meeting via Zoom because of COVID, but also it seems to be a bit more convenient for especially those around in all of New South Wales to meet on Zoom, and we discuss things like the slavery and in different ways where people are being forced into different things that without being paid a proper wage and not being looked after properly. So it could involve a whole lot of different things. And so I'm involved in different things like that, and that keeps my time. I also correspond regularly via social media with my family and friends. So yeah.
With the community, who else is in your community?
Okay, well, we have 4 in our community, and there's Father John, who is in charge, and he's actually in charge of the youth centre as well. Father Brendan, who is the parish priest, because we have the parish next door, the parish of Our Lady of the Rosary, and he's the parish priest there. Father Leo, who is also a priest, is in the parish as well, and he does some parish work as well as visit the elderly and so on. Yeah. And he's a Korean, so he has a bit to do with the Korean community.
Brother David, if you have to choose one advice to tell the young person, so what would it be?
All right, well, my advice would be, as St. Francis de Sales said, bloom where you're planted. So what that means is that if you happen to be a cleaner, then clean the place well, look after the people, and do a good job. If you become a CEO of the company, make sure you look after the people that you're working with, that are under you. Make sure you make them the best person that they can be, so that in the end everyone becomes the best person that they can be.
And in the end, that the world will become the perfect world.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you for your advice.
Okay.
Thank you for you guys listening for this conversation. And as I mentioned above, there are 2 purposes for this conversation. The second one is fundraising for my little bit project back in Vietnam, who are in the poor condition and can't afford for the meals in the Salesian community. So I would like to appeal your generosity to contribute to this small fundraising project. I think that just a small amount of your ability can help the children back in Vietnam a lot. So it's time to say goodbye. Thank you for everyone being here today. Thank you for Brother David.
Thank you.
Okay, say goodbye to our audience.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.